Welcome to my first YouTube video. That was really quick. That was horrible. What we're going to explain for my first video, I thought we'd go through a clean cut process on how we would start with a client from the point of a call to how, we intend to close a client and, what goes on the sale process afterwards. I think it's just a clean cut process that's nice and easy for you to be able to copy and paste into your business or your marketing agency, whatever service-based industry you're in. You can take a couple of the points that I'm going to explain today, use them for your own business if you want to. Like, our process is basically a 7 clean step process. We usually start off with step 1, which is the point of outreach. This could be a cold call, this could be a cold DM, a cold email, this could be someone that's coming from our own platform, from the videos that we've uploaded to you guys over the past 3 months. Ideally, that's the point of outreach. What we're looking to do is just break the ice. Realistically, the aim of this is to book a follow-up meeting. Really, all we're here to do is explain how marketing works, how it benefits your business, and ultimately how we can then transfer that into a meeting afterwards. Step 2 is actually the intro meeting. So this is where we usually like to do these face-to-face because you can really get a gauge for a person. Sometimes, they might not like you, the look of you or the sound of you and things like this, or the same with you with them. Like when this intro meeting, basically there's like a few clean-cut steps, but the main objective here is to usually get this person or this potential client, this prospect, started on our process. This usually involves a 10% deposit. However, we'll set the agenda up at the start of the meeting. Ultimately, we're there to explain what their marketing strategy is, how it's going to benefit them, how we can help them achieve their goals, and ultimately what that's going to cost. Step 3 is actually now the deposit. The whole idea of this is just so we can get the pieces in place. So say, for example, that person's spending £3,000 on their first month with us, and they're aiming to do a trial contract over a 3-month period. We take that 10% deposit, which would be £300, just to ultimately get our pieces, our team in place to be able to do that project. I would actually think this is the best pricing structure that we could have come up with for a first-time buyer. It makes them feel a little bit more comfortable trusting you with their money, because then they can see that we're actually doing some work with their money, even if it's only 10%. I think asking for £3,000 in a first meeting is sometimes a bit difficult, especially if it is a cold meeting, just straight off of a cold outreach perspective. So yeah, step 4, this is actually the contract. The contract is there to actually just set out the guidelines, really boring stuff, but ultimately it protects the client, it protects yourself. So that's what we usually pass on in step 4. This will either be emailed or chucked across in some way, shape or form. This is an actual little tip as well. Steps 1 to 4, you should actually be preparing the potential client or the prospect for before you have that initial intro meeting. What I find is when I set an agenda at the start of a meeting, whether or not I'm saying, look, we're going to take this 10% deposit at the end of the meeting if you're happy with everything, or from the point of a cold call where they're saying, oh, actually, if you are happy with us, you don't hate us at the end of the meeting, hopefully you didn't hate our cup of coffee, you want to place a 10% deposit with us. As long as we're setting that agenda throughout the whole way through, taking a deposit and actually getting them to sign a contract with you should be a simple step, and it should just be the case of you just handing that over and then that just rolling from there. Your process should just be pretty clean cut and pretty easy to follow. So that leads us on to step 5. Step 5 is actually the case of taking an upfront payment. This is my little tip as well for all marketing agencies, is never take a payment at the end. Take a payment up front for all your services. No 50% deposits, no 40% deposits, 10% down payment to pay at the end of the month. Take all of your money up front after you've done the initial setup process. You need that money to be able to run that campaign, operate that business, and manage that client effectively. It's slightly different to if you were getting your car repaired, for example. If you were getting your car repaired, you probably pay at the end because you can visibly see those repairs. But also, that mechanic can also, if you don't pay at the end, take all of your car parts out and just completely ruin your car and get it back to the state that it was in before he made those repairs. With marketing, you can't do that. If we release ads, if we release stuff into the atmosphere, into their pages, etc., all of the impact that's been done over that month, we cannot take away. So if we do all the work for the client and then get paid at the end, we run the risk of actually not being paid at all for that job, which just causes issues down the line. It's just easier to get paid up front in full for your services and be able to manage that client effectively throughout that month's period of time. Step 6 is really simple. That is literally just doing their campaign. You would have planned it, you would have gone through all the pieces, you would have gone through all the logistics, just get it started. Ultimately, they earn money, you earn money when you start this campaign, and it should be started as swiftly and as simply as possible. Do not overcomplicate it. The hardest part is actually just clicking the go button and going ahead and testing it. My little advice is as well, when you you turn, say for example, an advertising strategy on, you should really check the next day to see whether or not it's running, whether or not it's doing well, whether or not you spent all their budget in one day, because that has happened. Step 7 is actually doing the report at the end of the month. What we tend to do is we tend to go back, and this is another little boring part, but we tend to do a report at each stage and each step in the process, just making sure that that client has been looked after, they've been effectively managed, and we've done our job. This should also plan for your future months. If that client is signed on a month-by-month basis, they should know what's coming in their next month. So say for example, we didn't achieve the objectives that we had set out to in the first month, we then need to have a plan of action that we're going to take into the second month to be able to go to that client and say, look, this is how we're going to make you money and this is how we're going to perform. Ultimately, if you run your own business, you should be thinking about these processes every single day of the week. These are the things that you need to put into place that can manage your clients from start to finish and effectively get them results. So yeah, my little tips and tricks for your video. Thank you.
What's up guys, J Rose.